burst onto the scene at the end of last year, strung together some really good games. But then during the offseason, the Jaguars bring in a guy like Toby Gerhart. Where do you think you fit into this running game right now?
That's a really good question. I feel like it's always good to have good workhorses in the stable as well, and the more you can do, the better off you are. And me and Toby, both play running back, different size and stature, so we have our strengths and we have our weaknesses. I feel like we're able to complement each other. What I can do or what he can. Type of thing. So my role is to, I would hope, help change the pace back and also continue to do kick returns and play some special teams and do whatever I need to do to help the team.
You talked so much last year, especially after you had a good game. No, that wasn't good enough. I want to keep getting better. So what did you do during the off season to get better?
Off season, I went home to train for a little, but most importantly, I trained here. Where I was in the facility, I was around the coaches, I was with my strength coaches, getting used to staying with the Florida humidity. So coming into camp, I could be in shape and be able to go full speed every rep. And we all know as getting tired, your body seems to not work as hard as it could when it's well rested. But most of the time, I really stood here and put in the work in the weight room here with Milo and Jess and Alex, and just worked hard to prepare myself for the season.
There's no getting around the fact that Maurice Jones-Drew was not just a leader for the running backs, he was a leader for this offense. What's it been like so far not having MJD out on the field and in this locker room?
It's definitely different. He's missed, he's a funny dude. He brings it, and then being in a running back meeting room, we're even closer. We're always together. It's good to pick his brain and say, not the same personality compared to Toby, but it's cool where we all, like I said, we got characters in our running back room. We're going to keep things going. We'll always be laughing and getting things done, and then it gives opportunity for someone else to step up and to have that leader role like Mojo had.
So often defenses stack the box against the Jaguars because they know they have to defend the run, but with the additions of these young receivers and Marquise Lee and Allen Robinson and a guy like Mercedes Lewis being healthy, how much are those guys going to help the running game out, taking some pressure off of you?
They're going to make a big difference, and they help the game out, putting the defense on its heels, knowing they can't just stack the box and just send people and blitz people, because we have speed, we have the ability on the outside to beat corners and for them to make big plays. So, it helps us out. We also help them out, when they don't know when the run's coming, play action, as anything else goes in football. It's trickery, our object is to get our defense, out of position. So with these guys, and I feel like we got great weapons on offense to do that.
At this time last year, you guys did not know who your starting quarterback was going to be heading into the season. How much does it help this offense to know that Chad Henne is going to be the one lining up under center to start this year off?
Being more comfortable and knowing things is something to get used to, and it's anything. Everybody, you want to expect things, It's easier when you know what's coming up than a surprise, something to pop up on you. But at the same time, he continues to work. It has the people like Blake Royals, someone behind him can learn and picking up after him and to get things going. But as an offense, it's being comfortable and everybody just getting along, just knowing everybody's foot works, when the ball's going to release, how hard, how low, and then helping the wide receivers get out of their breaks.
Running backs are guys that can really show up when the pads go on. What's been the biggest difference now that you guys are in full pads?
It definitely helps with the pads are on. When you don't have pads on, a DB or a linebacker can touch you and it's almost a tackle. With the show-up pads on, we make them work harder. It also helps the linemen, be able to fit up their blocks when they're pulling and to get on linebackers. They can, just touch them. They're actually able to push them out of their way, put the helmets and shoulder pads on them, which opens up the holes for running backs. So it makes it a little easier.
A healthy Luke Jokel, additions like Zane Beatles and Brandon Linder. We know guys are battling out for that center position, but it seems like that unit is going to be much improved. Obviously, that's got to be a big boost for helping you guys out as well.
Definitely, we can't do it without the big guys up front, and when we're comfortable, we got some great guys in, and still got competition, working, pushing each other, and like I said, we can't move without them. So when we got them and like Jokel and everybody back healthy, it makes our job easier, and it makes us a better team.
All right, thanks so much.
You're welcome.